Dr. Robert Rinker, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Professor Emeritus of Chemical Engineering, will preside over the next part of the ceremony.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very pleased to introduce our student speaker, Eugenio Ariel Montoya, Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, class of 2003. Ariel was born in Santa Maria to Mexican immigrant parents who strongly encouraged his success in school. He graduated from Santa Maria High School, where his involvement in the Mathematics, Engineering, Science Achievement Program, called the MESA program, stimulated his interest in engineering. In summers, he worked with his father in the agricultural fields. Ariel transferred to UCSB from Ellen Hancock College. He has been an active member and this year's co-chair of Los Ingenieros, which is a student chapter of the National Society of Hispanic Engineers. In addition, he has earned grades which qualified him for membership in Tau Beta Pi, the National Engineering Honor Society. In July, Ariel will begin working for Pacific Gas and Electric Company in their Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant, where he had an internship last summer. In 2004, he will also begin attending part-time Cal Poly San Luis Obispo to earn his master's degree in electrical engineering. Ariel.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rinker, for that introduction. On behalf of all of the graduates, I would like to thank our parents, friends, and families for their ongoing support, love, and commitment to meeting our needs throughout our college years. I also want to thank our faculty and staff, not only for sharing their wealth of knowledge as teachers, but for also being there to support us as friends and as colleagues. Finally, I want to personally thank the staff of the Engineering Student Support Center and the MESA programs who have played a crucial role not only in my success, but also in the successes of many of today's graduates. Today is truly a day of celebration. Today we celebrate the accomplishments of many years of hard work and dedication. For our families, it is a day to rejoice and to marvel at how the transition from diapers to diplomas just happened a little too quickly. For our country's financial institutions, it is truly a great day, for they now get to collect interest on the cost of 4 years' worth of fees, supplies, and coffee consumed during all those late nights in the lab. For the men and women of this graduating class, today is our day to shine. Today we celebrate a great milestone in our lives. It is the culmination of a journey that began many years ago when our curiosity led us into our parents' toolboxes and we proceeded to dismantle a toy, a bike, or God forbid, the family VCR. All this not in the name of anger and not in the name of destruction, but instead in the name of science. We searched long and hard for the answers to the questions of why and how. Personally, I began this journey when I picked up my first Rubik's Cube. I remember taking the puzzle out of its package and twisting and turning for weeks. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of frustration, sweat, tears, and fingers red and numb from the puzzle's complicated moves, I looked at it shouting, "Ha! That's it." Then, I proceeded to carefully peel off every colored sticker and replace them all back in their colored order, therefore solving the puzzle. At least I thought I did. We all came to UCSB 4 years ago with our own puzzles and confusions about the world, hoping to find answers to all those childhood questions. With time, our quest became even more complex. Along with learning the physical laws that govern our universe, we learned how friendships could be made and broken. We learned to value our resources and the results of squandering them away. We learned to value hard work and the consequences of procrastination. We learned to be open-minded and listen to each other, even when we didn't want to accept that maybe the other person was right. We witnessed each other go through good times, bad times, frustration, satisfaction, anger, and happiness. Sometimes all of this within the course of only a couple of hours. And we shared our dreams with each other, our goals and our hopes for the future, and the puzzles and the questions that brought us all here together. Today we end this part of our journey here on the Faculty Club Green. And while I still can't say I can solve a Rubik's Cube, I can say I've learned two very valuable lessons here at UCSB. The first one is the fact that while it is a noble thing to create everlasting light bulbs and cleaner, more efficient transportation, it is an even nobler thing to make all these things cheap enough and accessible for even the poorest of the Mayan Indians to afford them. As engineers and scientists, let us remember that our first responsibility is to our world and to our society. In a world where profits are quickly becoming the primary reason for taking action, I ask you all to think before you act. As engineers and scientists, we will play a crucial role in the future development or possible destruction of our society. Choose to benefit humanity first, and I promise you, the rewards will be great. Finally, I have learned that while the world will often choose to quantify our successes by our diplomas and our knowledge in the physical sciences, the true measure of our successes will be the strength of our characters built up through our experiences with each other here at UCSB. As I once heard a speaker say, let science be the facilitator of discovery, but let it not be the inventor of your inner truth. With the help of our families, faculty mentors, and each other, we have all developed this inner truth. Please never be afraid to show it. Thank you all for allowing me to share these thoughts with you, and I wish you all the best of luck in your future endeavors. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Ariel. I'm now extremely pleased to introduce our commencement speaker, Mr. Michael Klein. Mr. Klein graduated from UCSB in 1988 at the age of 17 with a BA in political science. He earned that degree in 2.5 years by enrolling in 32 units in each of 3 successive quarters. He then earned a law degree from Santa Barbara College of Law and an MBA from Pepperdine while founding and running 4 companies over the next 15 years. In 1989, 1 year after graduating from UCSB, he founded MyBet Corporation, which made financial analysis and modeling software. After MyBet was acquired in 1992, Mr. Klein founded Transoft Networks, a leading supplier of networking software. Transoft was acquired by Hewlett-Packard in 1999. That same year, Mr. Klein created eGroups Incorporated, a group email communication service with over 25 million active customers. The following year, Yahoo acquired eGroups for $450 million. eGroups is now known as Yahoo Groups and has over 50 million users. Today, Mr. Klein is the president and CEO of Core Wealth Management, an investment firm specializing in corporate bond portfolios for high net worth individuals. With $1 billion under management, this firm has been recognized as the best performing high yield bond manager in the United States. Mr. Klein's companies and accomplishments have garnered him numerous industry awards and recognition, such as the California State Legislature's 1999 Entrepreneur of the Year distinction, the South Coast Business and Technology Entrepreneur of the Year Award, and places in Inc. Magazine's 500, Software Magazine's Software 500, and Deloitte & Touche's prestigious Fast 50. It gives me very great pleasure to introduce Michael Klein.
Thank you, Dean Terrell, Chancellor Yang, Vice Chancellor Lucas, Dean Moskovitz, distinguished faculty, friends, families, and most of all, the graduating class of 2003. I am honored, humbled, and even surprised to stand before you today. Previous commencement speakers have included the Dalai Lama, Dan Golden, the head of NASA, Nobel Prize winners, heads of state. So why am I here today? Well, honestly, I'm not sure. Maybe it's a mistake. In any case, nobody ever remembers their commencement speaker. I know I don't. All I remember when I was sitting in your seats 15 years ago on this lawn is, I'm hot, I'm wearing a dress, and is anyone actually enjoying these speeches? Well, let me assure you that I share a deep desire for this speech to end so that the party can begin. A few months ago, when Dean Terrell popped the question and asked me to speak today, I was a reluctant bride. Unsure whether to accept or to politely suggest that surely he could do better, I decided to consult the highest authority known to me for advice, my wife Robin. Why me, I asked her. Without missing a beat, she said, you know the old story about the little boy who was always optimistic? He always found the good side of everything. He drove people crazy. One day, his parents decided to teach him a lesson, so they piled his room high with horse manure on his birthday. And when he saw this, the little boy squealed with delight, jumped into his room, and started digging madly in the horse manure. His parents asked him, what are you doing? And he said, with all this horse manure, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere. Michael, she said, you're just like the boy in the story. In tough times like these, optimists like you are just the right kind of person for a commencement speech. Well, here I am, and I must admit that even from the perspective of a rabid optimist, you are facing one of the most difficult periods in recent history. Jobs are scarce. Yeah. Our dollar is weak. And political instability is rampant. Nevertheless, the greatest achievements come from times of greatest hardship and necessity. At the height of World War II, Sir Winston Churchill reminded Britons that these are not dark days, these are great days. These are the greatest days our history has ever lived. And we must thank God that we have been allowed, each of us according to our stations, to play a part in making these days memorable in the history of our race. Obviously, Churchill was an optimist too, as was Thomas Edison. Edison is said to have performed 50,000 experiments in his quest to develop the light bulb. At one point, an assistant grew so discouraged that he suggested that the entire project be called off. But Edison, ever the optimist, wasn't about to give up. He replied, yes, it's true. We have worked long and hard, and we haven't found what we're looking for. But the results of our work have been excellent. We have a list of 50,000 things we know won't work. Soon thereafter, the light bulb was invented. In my own career, I've been fortunate to have known many highly successful scientists, engineers, and business people. Some have been brilliant, some not. Some energetic, some not. Some charismatic, some not. But all successful in their own right. The only common thread was optimism. So, what is optimism? Optimism is the triumph of hope over ordinary expectations. The key is that the optimist doesn't share the ordinary expectations of others. Due to intellect, hard work, or luck, the optimist disregards the expectations of others, believing that he or she can almost will a certain outcome. Now, as engineers and scientists, you know that with this logic, the optimist is likely to be wrong much of the time. This is true. But to a successful optimist, failure is the source of strength and knowledge. Or, as Truman Capote said, failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. Well, on my way to becoming a, quote, success, I must admit that I've had more than my share of flavor. I made and lost a fortune, got divorced, went bankrupt, and did a faceplant with several technologies all before I was 25 years old. Any sane person would have given up and applied for a job at the post office. But I had an ace in the hole. And whether you know it or not, you all have the same ace in the hole that I did. The advantage you have is youth. Even though you have bills to pay, expectations to meet, your current obligations are nothing compared to your future responsibilities. Once you have a mortgage, a spouse, and children, you'll have real responsibilities. Right now, you have the freedom, the luxury, the opportunity to make mistakes and still recover. The greatest failure is not failing. The greatest victory is overcoming certain failure. While I'm not a scientist, mathematician, or an engineer, I can lay odds about one thing. You have to take chances. What appears to be a risk may be your destiny. Believe me, sometimes there really is a pony in the pile. Good luck and congratulations. Thank you.